Okay, today I'm going to show you this layout and kind of take you through a step-by-step way of putting the pieces of this layout together. It's a fairly simple layout, although when layered with all the pieces of the project, it really comes together beautifully. So if you have Make It From Your Heart Volume 2, you're going to find the layout we're using on page 35. It is pattern 15. And in it, it will show you all of the things you need in order to create the layout as I've shown you. So I'll read them to you here in case they're hard to see, but you're going to need 6 different pieces of paper plus your 2 background sheets. So for me, I use the craft paper. Here's the cutting instructions for paper 1. 1.5 by 7, 1.5 by 5, a 3/4 by 7, and a 3/4 by 5. Here is page 2. All of the pieces are, 2 of them are 1.5 by 7 and 2 are 1.5 by 5. Paper 3, we've got a 1.5 by 7 and a 1.5 by 5. You can probably see a recurring theme here. Fourth paper, 1.5 by 7, 1.5 by 5. Paper 5, we have some slightly different sizes. So we've got a 12 by half, a 12 by 1.5, and a 6.5 by 2.25. And then our last piece, this should be done on weight daisy if you plan to mat your photos, as this paper is for the photo matting. We've got a 6 3/4 by 2.25, a 4.5 by 2.25, an 8.5 by 3.25, an 8.25 by 6.25, and a 1 3/4 by 5. So those are the 6 papers we need to create the layout. Now for my layout here, let me get back to the layout. I use the Skylark paper and craft paper for my background. It's completely up to your taste what you use for this layout. Skylark is beautiful in that it goes with so many different things. It's such a versatile paper. It can be masculine, it can be feminine, it can be spring-like, obviously with the blues and the yellows and the greens, but here I've used it for a fall photo layout and it worked beautifully. I don't find it took away anything from it. So it really is very versatile. You can see here all of these pieces of paper that we cut out in the paper I just laid out in the layout. These are all the 7-inch pieces. All the 5-inch pieces are arranged over here and match up on this side. So when you're putting your layout together, although my layout sits like this, you could, when gluing it all down, sit it like this, just to make sure you line everything up correctly. So you start with your bottom 2 pieces, then you leave a 1/2 inch. Sorry, that's some fluff. Then you've got another 2 pieces, other 2 pieces, 1/2 inch. Now these are the same size. These are 1.5 inches by 7 or 5. They're just covered a bit with the zipper lace, which is why they look slightly thinner. 1/2 inch space, piece, 1/2 inch space, piece. And then this is one of the narrow pieces that you cut at 7 and 5 earlier. It would have been the same pattern paper I've used here. So you can play around with what you place where and how you want it to look, but just so you know, that's background paper peeking through, and these pieces are bigger than they appear. It's just I've got the lagoon zipper lace over top for some added dimension and some fun. All right, so then let's get into the actual pieces of the layout. So this is my first page, you could say, and I've used the Skylark complements as well as the Skylark assortment to go with my layout. I've also coordinated it in the lagoon zipper lace. We've had this for a while in hollyhock. We've just added it in lagoon, and I love it. It is such a perfect embellishment and so very versatile. To attach it if you're using it, the best thing I've found is to use your liquid glass and just to put a layer on the zipper itself, as that's the piece that's probably going to stick to your layout. And then I just press it down, and I've sometimes squished a book on top just to help it lie flat to make sure it really adheres well. My Skylark complements, this is from our die cut complements that go with the kit. I've attached these with 3D foam tape just to add some dimension. I love a lot of dimension. And then I've got my fun assortments placed there as well. Here we've got the big photo mat and one of the smaller ones. Now this photo mat is versatile in that you can have 3 smaller photos, or you can do something like what I've done here, where I've done one photo longer and I've just added one of the die cut complements from the Skylark kit here and a little assortment bird to finish it off. Again, I've popped this up on foam tape. If adhering these, they don't have sticker backs, the best way to adhere those is again with liquid glass. I find Tombow adhesive, although good for a lot of purposes, doesn't really do the job when it comes to these things, or 3D foam tape to really give it some last. Down in this corner, I have a little embellishment area. This is off the die cut compliments. It's actually a bigger piece that I've cut in half. It was a pennant banner. I've cut it in half, adhered half of it here, and this is from the zip strip on the Skylark paper. So there's a piece of zip strip. I think it has 4 different phrases. I've just cut that out, made a pennant in the end, attached it with some foam tape, and finished it off with some assortments. Really easy, but beautiful layout. So the second piece pulls through many of the things you've seen on the first side. So you've got those same pieces we've placed down. You've got a big thick band here, and this chevron piece here, which pulls down all the way to the bottom, is one of the zip strips from the Skylark paper. So you have that if you have your paper pack. I've added some of the complements here and here, both which are foam taped up. This one, it's especially important, especially if you've got the zipper lace, as the zipper lace already adds some height, so it made it necessary for me to use 3D foam tape on this one. Otherwise, it wouldn't have sat flat and looked clean. Then I've got my photos, some fun assortments, and this for my journaling box. Now, you do cut this out on a different piece of paper in the actual pattern from Make It From Your Heart. This, I thought I'd have some fun and fit in one of the Picture My Life cards from the Skylark kit. So it's a complimentary item, obviously, because it's from the same paper family, but it was meant for the pocket scrapbooking system we have, Picture My Life. It went beautifully here. It was a perfect spot to add my journaling, and overall it just helps the whole layout blend together. So if you have those pieces, it's a really easy add. This is a finished layout. You can keep it this way in your album or flip it the other way as I had it earlier. You could buy all of the pieces for this layout. They are listed on my website. They're all available through thebrayer.com, or you can go directly to my online shopping at braymontgomery.ctmh.com. If you have any questions about the layout, please let me know. I'd be happy to help you. Thanks.